The chapter opens by emphasising the fact that Jacob Marley is dead, and that we need to understand this if the story is to be as powerful and amazing to us as it should be. Scrooge hasn't painted Marley's name out and is described as a miser, as cold and as lonely, which is exactly as Scrooge likes it. On one Christmas Eve, Scrooge is working in his counting house. At 3 p.m, the fog has made the day dark. Scrooge's clerk is freezing but dare not ask for extra coal for his fire. Then Fred, Scrooge's nephew, arrives. He bursts in and wishes Scrooge a Merry Christmas, which Scrooge dismisses as humbug. He can't understand what Fred has to celebrate when he is so poor. Fred replies that even if he doesn't profit from Christmas, it has always enriched his life because it is a time when people open their hearts. He invites Scrooge to Christmas dinner, only to be ridiculed for marrying for love. Scrooge rudely tells him to leave, so he does. On Fred's way out, he lets two others in. Two gentlemen who ask Scrooge to donate money to charity to help the poor. Scrooge thinks prisons and workhouses are enough help, and any poor people who don't want to use them should just die, so they are less of a burden to society. The men take a hint and leave. It gets darker and foggier outside. A young boy sings a carol through the keyhole and is rewarded by being threatened with a ruler. Scrooge begrudgingly agrees to let his clerk have Christmas Day off, and then goes for dinner at a local pub on his own. He gets home and the door knocker turns into Marley's face. It turns back, he walks in and then sees a horse-drawn hearse driving up his staircase. He goes into his apartment and checks the rooms are empty. He changes and sits by the fire, and an old service bell starts to ring, as does every bell in the house. Then he hears someone dragging heavy change from the cellar up the stairs, and Marley's ghost comes through his door. Marley has to persuade Scrooge to believe he is real, so tells his tale. Marley's chains represent every sin he committed when he was alive. He says that every person is supposed to spend their lives among other people, and if they don't do it in life, they must do so in death, but they will get no joy from it. He warns Scrooge that his chain is already even heavier than Marley's. When Scrooge asks Marley to tell him something nice about the afterlife, Marley can't. He says he can never rest and must always travel. He says no amount of regret can make up for a life that has been wasted in not being kind to others. He wishes he had helped the poor when he had the chance. Now it's too late. Marley, however, has come to give Scrooge a chance to avoid this fate. 3 spirits will visit him, and Marley tells him when to expect them. Marley then leads Scrooge to the window and floats out to join a crowded sky full of wailing ghosts. Scrooge even recognises one, which he sees crying because it can't help a poor woman and her baby. They are all wearing chains and all clearly want to help and do good, but can no longer do so. The ghosts fade away and Scrooge closes the window and checks the door that Marley walked through. It was still locked. He is suddenly exhausted and goes to sleep.